In today's economy, more people than ever are looking to buy and sell businesses. But how do you do it? Welcome to the Deal Board, presented by Transworld Business Advisors. Straight talk about real deals and real people. Listen to stories, interviews, and expert advice to help your business sale, merger, or acquisition process. Now, here are your business exit experts, Andy and Jessica.
Welcome back, everybody, and we're excited for a special Deal Board episode today. We have an entrepreneurial interview, which we love doing, and the topic we're talking about is how to fail your way forward. And Andy, you've got a great interview.
Yeah, Damion Lupo from FrameTec, and I think I garbled it the first time I said it on the podcast, but Damion has a great story about how he's revolutionized or going to revolutionize the framing business for houses. And with the affordable housing out there in the world. And, you know, what's interesting, you've seen businesses like this that take a lot of investment and setting up factories. So what's really interesting about all his businesses that he's been through and how he got to where he is with FrameTec, and still he's really kind of in the launch phase, but great story, great to listen to.
Yeah. And we love doing these stories because we provide a lot of advice and about buying, building, growing companies, but it's always good to hear from an entrepreneur and their story and figure out from their experience, what can you take from their experience, their learning lessons to apply it to your business or your situation. It's not just inspiration, although it can be. Right?
It can be inspirational, and it also life lessons, and it's perseverance as well. I mean, both you and I have been in businesses where we have failed, and I don't know, call them failures. That's why I stumbled over the word.
Yeah.
It's learning experience. If you didn't learn something from your failures, you're missing out. I mean, some of the greatest business things, lessons that I've learned have come from my quote unquote failures. But it's a journey, right? And
yes.
I think this is a great example of an entrepreneurial journey that we could learn a lot from today.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to hearing the story. I also know we have a great listing of the week and a deal of the week as always.
And a couple other videos, a couple other interviews. So you check it out.
Yes. So let's jump in.
Let's do it.
Transworld Business Advisors is the world's largest business brokerage and mergers and acquisitions firm with over 1,000 brokers and nearly 250 offices worldwide. Transworld's team handles thousands of business sales every year. To be connected with a qualified business broker or learn more about the buying and selling process, visit tworld.com/thedealboard or call 888-719-9098.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to a great episode of The Deal Board. And we love talking to entrepreneurs and telling their story. And we had the representatives from our guest today reach out, and we said, we have to have them on. Anybody who loves to talk about failure as an entrepreneur, we love, because we know what it's like to be an entrepreneur and to try several things. And so we have Damion Lupo with us from his company, what is it?
FrameTec.
Damion, just tell us about it. Tell us about failing to win. Tell us about that philosophy.
You know, I think back about all the failings, and one of the things that just comes to mind, you get to a point where you've had so much practice failing that you don't actually think about it anymore. And that's a very, I don't know when that exactly happened, but I remember as a kid thinking, I don't want to fail. I had straight A's, meaning all A's, perfect GPA for many years until somewhere around my junior year in high school. And at that point, I said, you know what? I just don't care. And I got more interested in things. I was on the school board doing other things. I had started businesses in school, and I just got very interested in those. I wasn't playing the traditional game. And that's where things really started to kick in, and where the launch happened, where I just kept flopping and failing. And along the way, like it's funny, I went to college for the second time. First time I left after a year. Second time I go and they threw me out. So it's kind of a failure, but it was because I started a bookstore on campus. This is before Amazon took over the college books in a lot of ways. And I did this bookstore, and I ended up paying for school in a week, but they got so pissed off because I put the bookstore out of business, and that really upset them. So they said, you have to leave or shut it down. And I said, why would I shut it down? It's paying for school. So I ended up, so that was a monumental flop there. And the bookstore paid for school, but it didn't really go anywhere. That was just one of those things. And that was part of the origin of these flops. And in the midst of that, I think that was one of my 4 times going bankrupt. And it was funny because in the early 2000s, I ended up getting involved in real estate, went to some seminars and said, man, that's cool what they're doing. I could become a gazillionaire. So I went out and did a bunch of real estate, bought a bunch of houses and became a multimillionaire. And then in 2008, was so impressed with myself and how smart I was that I lost 25 million and ended up homeless. And I was like, okay, what was that? Well, first, the first question I asked myself was, actually, it wasn't even a question. It was a statement. That wasn't me. It didn't even happen. So I was in like the stage of denial. And then I blamed everybody. I blamed Obama and Bush and the Federal Reserve Chairman and like my neighbors and like everybody's fault except mine. And going through that process took about 4 years to go through the process of really thinking about it. And I spent a couple of years doing therapy with a therapist coach. And really, we asked the question, what is true? And what was true was that these were all gifts, like all these experiences, these failures, if you will. People think it's like you win or you fail, but actually you win or you learn. And when you shift, when I shifted to, okay, what was that? Why was that done? Why did that happen for me? And realizing even losing my, all my money, my dog, my girlfriend, my house. Truly, AC, I should have gone to Nashville and written country songs, but it was this cool experience. And on the other side of it, it led to asking better questions. And the question was, what the heck am I here for? Is it for more money? Am I meant to just flop around? And what I realized is I was going through all those things to be able to bring them forward into a moment in time where I could teach and I could share and I could grow new businesses from those experiences, and it'd be authentic. It wouldn't just be an MBA trying to force something based on theory. That's the beautiful gift of all these failures. And then all of a sudden something happens that's miraculous. Everybody goes, wow, you've got this amazing thing that happened. It's super successful. It's worth a ton of money. And it only took 2 years. And I'm like, yeah, but you missed the previous 25 years of all the failures, the 70 companies, most of which collapsed or didn't go anywhere. They just were me feeding money into them. And that's the missing part. And I don't think it really sells very well where people are like, I don't want the 25-year plan. I want the 25-week plan, maybe 6 months max, like that's this overnight success or like instant gratification thing that we've got going on. But I can tell you when you disconnect from being concerned about the failures and you fall in love with the process, magic happens. And I think that's the key. You have to have enough failures to where it doesn't even faze you. You're like, okay, that's a good opportunity to learn something.
I can't tell you how similar our experiences are on some levels. I almost failed out of school. I wound up on a therapist's couch. I failed in so many businesses before I came to Transworld. And like you said, poured money into a few of them and just, it never worked out. And everybody's like, wow, you did so well with Transworld. And it's like, I didn't stick in a business for longer than 2 years, for the first 10 years of my career, and just trying to figure yourself out. And like you said, it was an opportunity to learn every single time about something, that was so valuable about putting together a business and how to treat people because you were treated so badly, and how to treat customers because you watched others be treated badly, or you got treated badly as a customer. So tell us about your current businesses and, what you're looking to, how you're growing them, and, what's kind of those secrets that you figured out that, you apply now.
One of the things that it's really clear to me that there's, and this applies to everybody, there's a time to quit and there's a time to push through and beat your head into the wall and knowing that you might have one more hit to crack it, or you might have 1,000. And that comes up because about 10 years ago, I started a company called the EQRP company, where I was setting up individual retirement 401ks where people could invest in things outside of Wall Street. And I loved that because it was giving people a chance to control their financial future and not just hope that Wall Street would return enough so that they didn't die without any money. Like literally, it was an opportunity for people to control their future. And so I started doing that. And it was interesting when this launched. It took about 18 months for the money that was there that was meant to launch this thing into the orbit went away. So literally, like that thing failed there. And everybody left, all the employees left, all the advisors left, and everybody said, just go find the next thing. And that was an opportunity for me to say, okay, it didn't work. And I said, nope, I'm not quitting. So I just went off on my own and did the thing for about a year, rebooted it. And a year later, I just ground like I was a grinding machine. And that was what the pivotal moment to say, I'm going to go against every single other person out there, because I was the only one that was willing to grind. Everybody else wanted the easy layup. And a year later, I got some new people that came on, and that continued to grow. And so then it became a community of thousands of people, and now they're all working together, and that's been very cool. But what happened, there was an evolution. So if I quit that, all this other stuff wouldn't have happened. And you can look backwards and see all the dots, how they go together. But in the beginning, people go, wow, you had this master plan. And I laugh. I'm like, I had a plan trying not to starve to death. That was my plan. And I was, how do I serve people and not die in the process? Like, it was a pretty straightforward plan. Ultimately, as the community grew, people started talking about what they were missing in their lives and these pain points. And as an entrepreneur, this is key. Or as an investor, always look for the pain points in life. And if you can find them in other people, it's probably not just one person. It's probably a bunch of people. And if you can start solving pain, then everything, it's like Zig Ziglar, you can have anything you want in life if you give enough other people, help them get what they want. So people were saying, hey, we want to invest, but we don't have any great options. We don't love the options. So my partner and I said, well, let's go out and start finding things. And so we were really, really careful, because we saw a lot of bad stuff. The way I look at investing is every deal is bad until it proves otherwise. And so we did a few things, and they went, it was a mixed bag. They did not go as planned. And we're like, all right, are we dumb, or is this how this really works? And so I think it was a combination of both. And you get better as you go through. And so it was like the sixth thing that came up. We looked at this opportunity with these guys that had this vision for disrupting the construction industry and solving the housing crisis. So, I mean, there's not much bigger. I mean, there's some big problems. That is a big one. There's like 10 million missing units in America, and there's not really a solution. So these guys said, we have this idea. We've been in this industry for 50 years. Literally, our patriarch is like 81. And he had this idea, and he said, and so we go, why haven't you done it? He goes, I don't have the $40 million. And we were like, all right, well, I mean, we can help with that. So we liked him. Actually, we liked the deal a lot. We liked his vision for reimagining construction and helping to build these things, but we loved the team. The team is where it's all at. That's the idea, is like 1% of the value. The team is everything. It's like 99%. And we said, all right, we're in. We'll get you the $40 million. And these guys are like, awesome. And then they walk away, and they're probably thinking, these guys are full of bull. Like, this is not happening. And so we started writing checks, and we brought our community together and shared what we were going to do, that we were all in on this. We loved everything about it. And people said, we're in with you. And so hundreds of people came in, and we fueled this thing, this vision. And that was 2.5 years ago. And this month, as we're recording this, September of 2024, our plant is coming online that builds all of the framing, the walls, the roofs, the floors of houses and apartments. And it does it. There's three things that, I mean, this is why this is so cool, right? I mean, we get fired up about it. It's why it went from a zero, like nothing, to a $463 million enterprise, literally in 2.5 years. It's because we do three things. We deliver product framing 4 times faster than normal. We do it with 99% less waste. Imagine like no dumpsters full of wood. It's just sawdust. And we do it with a 10x quality product quality improvement. And we do it for all that for the same price as traditional. So when you can do something that's exponential like that, it doesn't happen the first time you take a swing at the bat. It takes time, and it takes flops, and it takes bringing all the right people together. If you get that done in the first time, you literally should just go play Powerball, because like that, it takes a series of these things. And so now FrameTec is the industry. It's where the industry is going. Things are being modeled after it. And there's incredible enthusiasm, because it was really like, you guys are like the Wizard of Oz. Like, there's no way this is happening. It's all pixie dust. Like, there's no way. And then as people start showing up at the plant and they see the things happening, they go, wow, you brought this to life. And thank God, I've got some incredibly brilliant operators that do the day-to-day, because if it was up to me, it would be a pile of dirt, and we'd have a bunch of pile of metal that I'd be trying to put together like Lincoln logs as a kid. And it would be a big mess.
You know, you bring up a few points that, you know, I love to highlight when talking about business success. It's certainly, there's very few business success stories I hear that involve one person by themselves, right? So, you know, I love the fact that you found this awesome, you know, family / you know, generational business that had been in an industry so long that they knew the pain points, they knew how to solve them. They just didn't have the expertise in raising capital and building an organization like you did, because you had been through it, 70 something times, like you've said. So you put those two things together and, magic happens. And I know, by the way, been involved with a lot of nonprofits, and, we're here in South Florida, and the number one problem we have is affordable housing. Number one problem. And we have such a lack of units that everybody's scrambling. It's just that we can't get, there's money available for affordable housing. We just can't be built fast enough.
It's funny when you say that, and the part of the thing is funny because most businesses become nonprofits, not on purpose, but because they don't end up having profit, they end up having losses. And so I always laugh whenever I hear nonprofit. I'm like, if you don't do business the right way, you're going to end up being a nonprofit that you didn't really want. So it's kind of interesting, but that is the theme nationwide. A lot of that has to do with the framing. The trades after 2008 didn't have people left, and they haven't come back. We lost like 75% of the supply chain, and it's not easy. People don't want to go out there in the elements. They don't want to swing hammers. I'm in Arizona. Nobody wants to go and sit in the sun when it's 110 degrees building something outside. So you have to start thinking about what's the trend? What do people want to do? Our plant has 1/3 the employees needed for the same amount of houses produced a year as a traditional setup. So instead of 600 people, we have 180 people. And what we've done is we've automated and robotized. It's the most advanced plant in the country in this space. So we have all these robots doing a lot of the stuff that would ultimately break humans. And the robots don't care. They don't complain. They don't go on vacation. They don't have workers' comp. You just fix the bolt or replace a wire, and like they're good. And so we're putting people into places, into jobs and opportunities where there's more thinking involved, there's more creativity, it's raising that bar, so it's not just grinding along in the dirt and the sun, and it helps to solve this problem because we're not magically going to have more people that want to frame.
Right.
But something else that you said that I thought was it's an incredibly important thing. There were a number of years after having 20 years ago, having been burned pretty bad by a partner, I was incredibly gun shy around having employees or partners. And so I just did what a lot of people do. I was like, I'll just do it myself. And the problem is you run out of time, you run out of energy. And quite frankly, we're just not that smart. And if you are smart, you think, oh, I can do all this stuff. So you're your own lawyer, your attorney, your accountant, your web designer, and you do all these things lukewarm, and then you wonder why you're broke. And the power is having the humility and the vision to bring people together that are brilliant. And that's what the operating team is now. Brilliant. The partners that I have, the leader, the CEO of my private equity company is this guy that is 1,000 times better than me at everything he does that I was doing a lot of. And I was like, wow, how did we survive with me being and doing all the technical things everywhere? Because I was good enough to get things done, but it wasn't good enough to make it really scale or grow or ultimately be a half a unicorn. I mean, you have to have people, even these stories like WhatsApp, what Facebook bought for 26 billion, it was like $1 billion per employee. There's still other people. And that is a key. The best people in the world, not the least expensive, the best, because the best are assets, the best create value. The least expensive costs you money. And that's one of the twists that people don't realize.
Yeah. I mean, people are everything. And, I've been burnt with partners too. And I was definitely gun shy, and especially even getting into the current partnership I have that has helped me grow Transworld to what it is today. I insisted on going out to dinner with him and his wife outside of the office just so I could kind of get a better feel for who he was, because that's what I wanted. I don't necessarily want a partner that, can talk the talk. I want someone that has heart and that's going to, fight and be in the trenches with you. And so it sounds like you have that. So what else are you working on? I mean, is that, FrameTec's it right now? That's the one baby, or you've got so many other things working?
No, that's one of the other keys. One of the failures, the ways to fail is to be doing too many things at once. And there's this misconception around diversification because it's pounded into our brain by Wall Street. And that's really to give our money to people that just put it in a bunch of stocks and then they go golfing for 30 years. But the reality is you're not really going to make progress until you narrowly focus. It doesn't mean like, Shaquille O'Neal has 150 businesses. He's not very focused. He didn't just start 150 businesses. He literally was buying things and expanding. And so there's a mission. The mission is to free 1 million people from financial bondage, breaking their shackles. And that's done through these different mechanisms. Ultimately, turnkey retirement is what I have in mind for people. It's the ability to have a turnkey system, and all these different things that have been built and now are being run by people are part of turnkey retirement. It's like you need to have skills, you need to have a community, you need to have opportunities. They're all there. And so the focus on the biggest expansion is FrameTec's ability to move across the country. So the vision over the next 10 to 15 years is to have 50 to 80 plants between Arizona and Florida. So we'll literally be producing hundreds of thousands of units a year. That is a huge dent in the need of what's going on. Plus, we have a model that other companies and industries can say, this is a really good model, the way that you're treating people, the innovation to protect truly all the shareholders and the stakeholders. Like that term has been thrown around the last 10 years for different reasons, for different agendas. But the truth is when everybody's winning, when the cities are winning, the towns, the communities, the workers, you're taking care of them like family. You're not destroying the environment in the process. You're building incredible value. I mean, this enterprise, we took this, the first plant is about $60 million to build. And when it's online this fall and it's valued, it'll be worth between 400 and 600 million. So it's creating this like 10x value. You're not going to do that. And you know this because you have business. That's how you create exponential value, is by creating something that's big and scales and serves a lot of people. You don't do that by going and flipping a house, or by being a consultant where you're working with one person and that's your business. The biggest success stories are the ones where people have the biggest impact, the most impact, the deepest, the widest. I mean, look at why do sports stars make so much money? Because one, they fail more than anybody else, like every freaking day. And like that's part of their process. And they're like, okay, I'm going to play in the biggest space possible. And with the biggest space possible has millions of people being impacted by their minutes. So when you start thinking, how could I impact millions with minutes? Then it changes how you operate and even what you're willing to do and not do.
That's incredible. I mean, like you said, the impact is what it's all about. I always tell people who want to make money, I'm like, you either have to have margin and you have to be in the way of a lot of money that is changing hands. Like, you're in some sort of big M&A, position, and you're there for these big transactions where you can get a piece of it, or you have to be able to multiply your efforts, and you have to be a part of something that's going to churn out something and like you said, it's got to be valuable. And, and obviously you've done a great job. You've identified a huge need. And yes, I can imagine that these factories can be everywhere in the southeastern United States, if not the northeastern, everywhere in the world. So
there's an incredible opportunity everywhere, because really, everywhere is looking for growth. And the problem is a lot of these places, these jurisdictions get in their own way. Like there's a reason we're not going to California, and anybody that does business knows. And it's not that I don't like California. I think it's like the most beautiful, dynamic state ever. And it's been bastardized by politicians. And it's, when you're thinking about business, manufacturing, or almost anything, you go, where am I going to get beat up and where am I going to be embraced? And so we're going places where they're actually wanting us, not a place that's going to take 3 times as long to go do the thing. A lot of times people, I've heard this, they're either they say I'm lucky or somebody's lucky, or they're like, I'm waiting for the thing. And I go, here's the problem. What luck is, I think it's the ancient, the Chinese proverb. Luck is when opportunity meets preparation. And when you fail, you're preparing to be ready for the opportunity. If you're not prepared with all the failures and the opportunity shows up, if FrameTec had shown up even 5 years ago, wouldn't have been ready, wouldn't have had a clue how to go out there and put together $60 million or trust in the team or all these things. Like, you have to build this muscle. And there's an impatience that's you have to really work through that. Like, I don't think you're born being super patient and willing to sit still, and probably the opposite. Like, that just evolves over time. As a kid, you want everything right now. And when parents say, wait, you're like, wait, why would I do that? That's crazy. And then we just kind of continue doing that same process, but ultimately being patient while you're taking action. So it's kind of weird, because you're taking action and you're also patient on the outcome. People say, I can't wait until this thing happens. And I go, that wrong play. You got to fall in love with the process and trust the process and be in the middle of the process, even when it's beating you and you're bloody. And then one day something will happen. You'll go, whoa. And then you'll be like Elon when he's told you're the richest person in the world. And he goes, huh, interesting, back to work. Doesn't really care on the outcome, loves the process. The more you do that, the more this abundance happens. But I think that that's a process of, one, forgetting about the failures as if it means anything. And two, deeply trusting and loving in the process of your impact on the world. That's where life opens up.
Yeah, I agree 1,000%. There were several times over my career where I could have easily packed it in. And, when we got started, there was no such thing as a company my size in our industry. And then when I got together with my partner, one of my famous quotes, he always laughs at, he's like, for the first 5 years, I used to walk around saying, exactly when are we going to make money? But we trusted in the process. We knew we were onto something and we wanted to get it going. So it's a great story, Damion. Is there a way that, you want people to interact with you? Is there, you want to talk about you getting in touch with you if somebody wanted to get you as a speaker or something? What's the best way to do that?
So the best thing that what I've thought is, how can I serve the most people? And so that's what turnkey retirement is all about. It's a place where people can go and I'm constantly I'm just giving it away, like whatever I've got. So there's a bunch of content that includes like how I look at deals, how I vet deals, how I choose whether I'm going to invest or something after having lost tens of millions of dollars. Probably smart to leverage off of my stuff instead of going and losing your own money. And so
Right.
there's a video presentation I did just recently in the last month talking about my 19 landmines that I look at and make sure that I check a box in all those. And then there's a downloadable there where you can actually use that for your deals, whatever you're investing in. If you're looking at a business, it's the same rules. Like if you're going to invest money or you're going to invest your life, you want to know, hey, are these things, is there a box that's checked? And it doesn't mean it's perfect. What it means is that you're aware of it. What I've seen traditionally and in my earlier career, people just don't even know what they don't know. And so they go blindly into the thing that smells good or tastes good or is real shiny. And then they go, wow, how did I lose my money? Or actually, it's worse than that. They say, it's your fault that I lost my money. And they point to somebody else and they don't learn anything. So guess what happens the next time? Same thing. They lose their money because another shiny object comes their way. So turnkey retirement is a place where I'm putting these resources so that you can say, okay, I'm going to leverage Damion's 25 years into 25 days. You could slam the content and then just start absorbing it. That was one of the keys for me in the beginning. I just absorbed. Like I used to live and sleep with Tony Robbins. That sounds very scandalous, but I literally would listen to him. I'd fall asleep listening to Tony all the time. And so I started weirdly talking like Tony, and you start taking things on, but I was also thinking like Tony in a deeper and deeper way. And so those are the influences. My hope is that people will take these things and go, oh, I'm going to trust that Damion's not full of crap because he's actually done it. And he's given me this stuff. And it's like, all right, normally you say, well, it's worth what you pay for it. Well, I'm trying to get this to more people. And so it's that there's a law of ephemeralization, doing more with less. I'm going to give you the ability to do more with less investment. You just have to spend your time. And that's my hope for everybody. Leverage off of other people that have already done it. Not that can talk about it without doing it, but the people that have really done it. So I teach what I've done. I don't teach anything I haven't done, because I think that's pretty disingenuous. And that's the philosophy, and that's what you get with turnkey retirement.
Well, everybody, will drop those contact points in our show notes. Damion, the whole reason I'm married and the whole reason I own my business is because I got through about tape 5 of Tony Robbins back in the day when he had 22 cassette tapes, and I did the same thing. And you're doing that homework, and you're learning to make your own decisions and live with your own decisions and taking responsibility for yourself. I think all those things, but I can't wait to look at those 25 points. And I'm sure my daughters are looking to buy a business right now. I'll have them to look at that too. So thank you so much for coming on today. I really, really appreciate it.
Andy, I appreciate you having me. And I hope it's valuable for people to get some new ideas and to think of things a little bit differently. And really been a pleasure spending the last half hour with you.
Thank you, buddy.
Hey, Jessica, you know what time it is?
Money time?
Almost. It's time for listing of the week.
This is Matt with Transworld Business Advisors of LaGrange in the Chicagoland area. Our listing of the week is a rideshare company that has over 220 vehicles for people that are looking to drive for Lyft or Uber Eats or Amazon or whatever they want. The clients do pay weekly, but they have longer term contracts. If they're late fees get instilled upon them, and then they can certainly turn off cars if need be if somebody doesn't pay. So it's a great business. Cash flow is over $800,000 right now. And there is a building, there's real estate involved, and it's a great business with recurring revenue. They are usually a 90-95% rental rate on those cars. If you'd like to discuss it further, you can contact us at the LaGrange office at LaGrange, LaGrange, at t-as-in-tom-world.com. That's LaGrange at tworld.com, or simply just call us at 708-328-8800. Once again, 708-328-8800. Thank you.
My name is Taylor Bombardiere. I'm one of the brokers here in the Transworld DFW office. Been doing this for about 6 years. I just wanted to hop on here and talk with you guys about defeating imposter syndrome. What are some tips and tricks for young entrepreneurs, whether you're actually young or just young into this business, in order to defeat imposter syndrome and that nagging voice in the back of our brain saying, we're not meant to do this, or, questioning the decision that we have here. So, being a young broker, someone that came into this right after college, was very, very new to the industry. It's something that I can absolutely talk with from a level of experience, something that I've been through, and something that I can say that a lot of the new brokers that we hire on struggle with on a daily basis is just figuring out how to defeat that imposter syndrome. And so today wanted to talk over a couple of tips and tricks that I've found over the years that have worked for myself, but also tips and tricks that have worked for other brokers that we've hired on that have mentioned that these are the things that have helped them get through that. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, this is something that everyone is probably going to face, whether you're learning something new, whether you've been in this industry for 30 years, but, it's just getting through that cycle and you're starting to work on different deals. These are things that you can definitely help and will help you get through that cycle there. So one of the first things that I always think about when defeating imposter syndrome is just knowing that everyone started somewhere. Everyone started at a place that they were very, very new into it and have to grow from there. And so as long as you're getting better by one little bit each and every day, that's a win. You didn't have to necessarily sign up that listing. You didn't have to necessarily go and get a huge deal closed that day. But as long as you got better a little bit each and every day, as long as you learned something each and every day, then that's a win. And that's something that you can take with you every step of the way. And so figuring out and writing down those little wins that you've had at the end of each day or at the end of each week, or make it monthly, whatever you want to do, whatever time frame works for you, going and writing down those small wins that you have, whether it be the things that you learned, whether it be tasks that you completed, whether it be a new thing that you've done that you hadn't done in the past, writing it down and figuring out what those small wins are is super, super helpful. And it's something that's going to add up in the long run. And so that's the first thing that I would do is if you're ever having those doubts and feeling like imposter syndrome is creeping in, write down those small wins, because it's something that will help you a lot. Another thing I like to remember when those thoughts start to creep in is that we're the professionals here, right? Whether it be a buyer or whether it be a seller that's reached out to us, we are the ones that they have reached out to because they don't know what they're doing. At the end of the day, people are good at what they know. Whether you're an auto mechanic and you've been turning a wrench for 30 years and now you're needing to sell your business, a lot of these people don't know the first thing or really where to start. And so they're coming for us and coming to us for advice and for a way that they can get out of this business or a way that they can transition into a business. And so just remembering that more than a lot of the people out there that are asking for your help is a very comforting thought, and something that I've always kind of gone back to every time I start to get a little bit of imposter syndrome creep in, because at the end of the day, we're the professionals. Maybe you're super, super new. Maybe you've just gone through training, but we are the professionals. And you still know more than the vast majority of people out there that are looking for the help that we provide there. So that's one of the things just to keep in the back of your head. The other thing is, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. It's huge. It's one of the things that I really, really struggled with. You'll hear people say, fake it till you make it. You'll hear people say a bunch of different things just so you can get through and sound like you know more than you actually do. But at the end of the day, what I found is saying, sorry, I don't know that answer. That's a great question. It's something that absolutely will get answered for you. I just don't know the answer to it right now. But guess what? I'll find out for you. No matter what it is, I will go and find out for you. We've got all these great teams and great resources within Transworld. And hopefully you do as well, just to go and reach out, whether it be Google even, figure out what the answer to their question might be and go back to them with it. At the end of the day, everyone is going to appreciate that honesty, and everyone is going to appreciate you saying, I don't know, and coming back to them with the actual answer to that question versus you trying to fake it till you make it, or, even lying about something and then backtracking after that. So don't be afraid to say, I don't know. The last thing is that just remember that what we do is providing value in every single person's life. I truly believe at the end of the day, we're providing value for people, whether, like I've said before, is getting someone out and into retirement, selling their business. These people have 30, 40, sometimes 50 years of blood, sweat, tears, and money tied up in these businesses. And a lot of times it's their retirement that they need to get out of it. And so just remember at the end of the day that we're truly doing something that makes a difference. There's a lot of people out there that can't necessarily say the same thing. And so I think it's really a beautiful thing that we do as brokers is that coming in and helping sellers sell their businesses, or buyers get into the businesses of their dreams and really, kickstart those dreams as well. So just remember at the end of the day, we're doing something that provides value to people. So as long as you, as a broker or anyone, if you're watching this video, is getting a little bit better each day, don't be afraid to say, I don't know. And just remember that we provide a lot of value to people in what we do. Those are a couple quick tips and tricks that you can use in order to defeat that creeping thought at the back of everyone's head. It's not just you that says, you're not meant to be here, or you're not meant to do what you're doing right now. So kick those thoughts out of there. Make sure that you're getting better every day, and just have fun doing what we do, because at the end of the day, we get to talk to so many cool people and learn about so many cool businesses that are out there that it's fun. It's really something that is one of the best jobs out there. So just have fun. Once again, my name is Taylor Bombardiere. I'm here at the DFW Transworld office. Feel free to reach out to me. My email is taylorb@tworld.com. Thanks.
Hey, Andy, do you know what time it is? It's time for our deal of the week.
Deal of the week.
Sold.
Hi, my name is Hollie Choe from Transworld Business Advisors of Oregon Central. I'm the principal broker here, and I have my colleague here, Jeff.
Hi, yes, my name is Jeff Jones, and I work out of the Springfield, Oregon office.
And today we'd like to take this opportunity to highlight one of our recent closed deals. We have an established community favorite online specialty business. It was actually a referral from a realtor friend of ours, and the seller had established a really great business, but she was just ready to move on. Jeff, can we talk a little bit about this business?
Yeah, this was an online candle and specialty business. It was family established and owned. They had a huge and very loyal online following. It was mostly through Facebook. The owner had built a great business out of her passion and her love for specialty candle products. Some of the great aspects of the business were that she grew her business year over year. She had a tenured staff in place. She created quirky and fun products that were very high quality, so she built a great reputation. Unfortunately, due to some unforeseen circumstances, it was time for her to move on. And she had a very short timeline to sell, but she very much wanted to keep the legacy going. Hollie and I were able to bring her buyers very quickly, and one rose to the top right from the start. We found a buyer who was equally passionate about the product and ready to take it to the next level. The buyer and seller worked great together. This was a cash sale, and we were able to close quickly. So we not only exceeded her expectation for the timeline, we also brought her just the right buyer.
We sure did, Jeff. It was truly an honor to be part of such an important transition in both their lives. The best part was we preserved the legacy of this business, and everyone had a wonderful experience working together. I know I had a great time. And this goes to show good deals for good people. If you're a business owner considering exiting or a buyer looking to be your own boss, please reach out to us for a free consultation. You can call our office at 541-920-9026, or
you can also use that number to reach me, or you can send me an email at jsjones@tworld.com.
Thank you so much for your time and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning into the show today. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends on social media. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcasting app. If you have questions, would like to appear, or have suggestions for topics for the show, get in contact with us through our website, thedealboardpodcast.com.